My name is Da, but this happened years ago, when life still felt messy. That morning, everything seemed normal. I was preparing for my wedding, but then a text from Ava, my ex-fiance's sister, made my blood run cold. Meet me somewhere private. It's urgent. My heart raced as I followed her, unsure what nightmare she had uncovered. Minutes later, she thrust a USB into my hand, whispering, "Play this at the ceremony. Expose him." My pulse thundered. Secrets, betrayal, and a lifetime of trust shattered in an instant. Today, I'll tell you how one moment changed everything. My name is Da. I'm 25 years old now, but the events I'm about to share happened a few years back when life still felt messy and confusing. And I was learning who I really was. It's a story involving my ex-fiance Zach and his sister, Ava, two people who changed my life in ways I never saw coming. At that time, everything felt innocent and simple. But looking back, I can see how every moment slowly built up to what happened later. Before anything romantic ever happened, Ava and I had been friends first, good friends. We met while working at the same little coffee shop in town, the kind of place that always smelled like warm pastries and burnt espresso. I was a high school senior then, shy and quiet, always keeping to myself, while Ava was in her last year of college, confident, outgoing, and the type of person everyone naturally gravitated toward. Somehow, despite our age difference, we clicked instantly. We spent our off hours talking about school, customers, annoying coworkers, and everything in between. She always felt like someone who understood me even when I didn't understand myself. And before anyone thinks it's strange that I ended up dating her brother, let me make this clear. I had no idea she even had a brother. We barely talked about our families. We always kept our conversations light and focused on work or life. Families never came up often, so the idea of a Zach was nowhere in my world back then. After Ava graduated, she moved to another state for a job, and suddenly I felt the absence of her presence more than I expected. She had been both a friend and a guide, showing me how to open up as a person. I used to be painfully antisocial, and she was the one who encouraged me to try new things, meet new people, and step outside my shell. Even after she moved, we stayed close, calling every other day, checking in, laughing, comforting each other. She was like the older sister I never had. One day, Ava told me something that changed the course of everything. She said frat parties were a great way to meet new people in college. Me, the shy, awkward girl who hated noise and crowds, was supposed to go to a frat party. I wasn't convinced, but since I still hadn't made many friends in my first 2 years of university, I decided to take her advice. I figured one night wouldn't kill me. The moment I stepped into the party, the loud music hit me like a wall. People were dancing, shouting, spilling drinks, complete chaos to someone like me. I felt so out of place that I quickly escaped to an empty couch in the corner just to breathe. And that's when Zach sat beside me. He glanced at me with concern. "Hey, are you okay?" he asked. I shrugged awkwardly. "Yeah, I'm fine. You look uncomfortable. Did you drink something sketchy? Or maybe something uncovered?" I shook my head. "No, I didn't drink anything. I'm completely sober." "That's a shame," he said jokingly. "Is this your first party?" "Yeah, how could you tell?" He smiled slightly. "You look like you'd rather be anywhere else." "Okay, fair," I admitted. "I'd rather be in my room reading than being shoved around by sweaty strangers." "So then why are you here?" "My friend told me parties were the best way to make friends." I said like an idiot. I listened. "There are definitely better ways." He said, "So where's this friend? Shouldn't she be keeping you company?" "She's in another state now. That sucks. If you want, we can ditch this place. Maybe grab burgers and milkshakes." "I don't have a car," I said, embarrassed. He laughed. "I have one. I can drive." "I don't think you should drive if you're drunk." "I'm not drunk. I'm staying sober for a while. Last week was a disaster." "I don't believe you." "Then let's walk," he offered. "There's a great burger place 40 minutes from here." Just when I was about to say no, a drunk girl collapsed on top of me, giggling. That was enough for me. I agreed to go. The walk didn't feel like 40 minutes at all. It was the first time in years I felt myself opening up to someone new. Zach was studying finance while I was studying marketing, and we were from the same side of the city. By the time we arrived, we were starving. We ate like we hadn't seen food in days, talking nonstop and laughing like we'd known each other for years. Walking back felt even better. We leaned on each other for support, laughing so much that passers-by probably thought we were drunk. When we finally reached my dorm, Zach hugged me goodbye. We exchanged numbers, and that night, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: excitement. I texted Ava immediately and asked her to video call. When she answered and saw my face, she knew something was up. I told her everything from the awful party to the walk to the burgers to Zach's kindness. She reacted dramatically as always, making jokes, gasping, teasing me nonstop. She was thrilled. And things only changed more from there. Zach and I kept seeing each other. He asked me to hang out again after classes the next day. We clicked again just as easily as before. That weekend, I met his friend group. Surprisingly, they welcomed me right away. They weren't fake or judgmental. They were fun, relaxed, and easy to be around. Slowly, my college life felt less lonely, and I started feeling like maybe I was finally finding my place. Zach and I went on more dates. After weeks of getting closer, he finally asked me out properly during a fancy dinner. I was so happy I felt like floating. On the way back, we shared our first kiss, and I couldn't stop smiling. Of course, the first person I told was Ava. She practically screamed when she heard the news, calling herself my second mother, teasing me till I rolled my eyes. Zach and I dated for 3 years after that. It was the happiest period of my life. He made everything easier, brighter, and calmer. The only tiny issue was him wanting to live with his parents for longer. But he always said he was saving for our future, so I accepted it. But through all that time, something strange remained. We still hadn't introduced Ava and Zach properly to each other. Ava and Zach weren't close over calls, and that unfinished bridge would eventually become a huge problem later, which brings us back to the moment where everything began to shift. Zach wasn't a big fan of phone calls, so they had only talked a few times. Then Ava told me she was coming back. I was ecstatic to have me best friend back after 4 years. She had found a better job in our town and thought it would be great to be closer to family and me. When Ava returned, she came over to my place for a sleepover. We geeked out about her being back and caught up on everything that had happened in our lives since she left. We William plans for Ava and Zach to meet that weekend. I was sure they'd like each other when the weekend came. I walked into the cafe first and greeted Ava. Hey Ava, hello. How are you? All good. What about you? I'm good, but I could be better. Where's your Mana? Packing the car. I'll be here in a second. Oh, there he is, says Zach. Walked in. Ava's face changed. Hold on that, Zach. Yes. Why, Ava? What are you doing here? Zach said, equally surprised. I could ask you the same thing. Hello. Could one of you explain what's going on here? I asked, confused. Diana, out of all the people in this world, I can't believe you're dating him, Ava exclaimed. Yeah, well, I can't believe you managed to friend Ava out of everyone on earth, Zach responded. One of you will either explain or I'm leaving, I said, frustrated. Tedrinber, how I told you your boyfriend had the same name as my brother. Well, you dating my brother. What? But you don't even have the same last names. He's my half-brother, but still you managed to do something crazy, Ava said, shaking her head. Ava explained that her mom had died when she was young. Her dad remarried Zach's mother and then they had Zach. I couldn't believe how everything had lined up so perfectly. Never a million years would I have thought that I was actually dating Ava's brother. At least was someone she could vouch for. About a year after Ava returned, Zach proposed to me. I obviously said yes, and we began planning our wedding. I told Ava about the engagement, but she seemed upset when I asked her if something was wrong. She quickly changed the topic. Concerned, he talked to Zach about it and he agreed that her behavior was odd. He tried talking to her, but she became hostile and told him to leave her alone. And this went on for months, and eventually Ev and I were barely speaking. It felt like I had lost a really good friend, and I hated it. I had been busy with feuding and work, and I hadn't had Tomato sit down and talk to her properly. One day I decided I couldn't stand it any longer and invited her over to my place. Ava, can you please talk to me? What's going on? Why are you suddenly ignoring? I really don't want to do this to you. What are you talking about? Just tell me if I did something wrong. Did you upset you in any way? I know you did nothing wrong. I'm just dealing with something big and I don't know how to talk a booty. Am I not your friend? You can talk to about anything. I really wish I could do this, but it's very different to break you, Diana. I don't care. I just want my best friend back. Zach, I also very worried about you. Oh yeah, I'm sure he's got other things to worry about. What are you talking about? Never mind. Please don't leave me hanging like this. Ava, it's killing me. I feel like I'm losing you. I promise you're not going to lose me. I just need to find a way to explain things to you and get even with what I'm angry at. Could I at least get a hint about who you're angry at? No. That will only make things worse for you. Just trust me to handle things the right way. I'm terrified, but I trust you. If Ailey spoke to me after that, she didn't participate in any wedding planning and even refused to be my maid of honor. I was heartbroken, and I trusted that Ava wouldn't leave me hanging. The months passed, and soon it was the day of Zach and my wedding. Just as it was almost time for me to walk down the aisle, Ava texted me asking me to meet her in the behind the hall. Confused and concerned, I asked why she couldn't come my room. She insisted it was important that no one saw her. Whatever she wanted to tell me sounded urgent. I informed on my bridesmaids that I'd be a few minutes late and went to find Ava. I found Ava in back and forth, and she quickly walked up to me, grabbed my hand, and placed a USB in it. Before I could ask her what it was for, told me I needed to play the video in the USB and expose her brother. I was baffled and scared, but I trusted Ava instructed one of the staff to give the USB to the person in charge of the presentations on the projector with instructions to play it as soon as I walked down the aisle. 2 minutes later, my heart racing, I walked down the aisle. Zach looked at me with tears running down his face. Despite my fears, I had done nothing wrong. As I right at the altar, the video started playing. The crowd gasped. When I turned around, Mistak dropped. The video showed Zach and my bridesmaid Celeste making out and touching each other all over in his portion of the venue. Just hours before I dropped my bouquet and ran out the hall. Zach followed me. Diana, wait, what the hell? Zach, I promise it's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like. Your hands were all over her. Andy, our faces were practically melded together. It was a moment of weakness, a moment of weakness right before our wedding. Really? Zach, at least come up with better exes. Okay, fine. Celeste and I started messing around 2 years ago. Great. So, you were professing your love after you were sleeping with your best friend. We drank a little too much and then thing led to another. You're disgusting. Would you keep me in the dark for so long? What did you expect me to say? You'd have left me instantly and told Ava. Wow, would then tell my family. You know my family is very tolerant of everything and Jeep cheating. You know what? You just ruined my life. Why are you getting mad at me when you're facing the consequences of your own actions? You could have come to me privately instead of humiliating me like this. Cry me a river. You deserve this. I'm glad I found out before marrying you. If I hadn't found out, you would have kept it up. Well, didn't you? That's what I thought. Yeah, not even sorry for cheating on me, or only sorry you got caught. You know what? Screw you. I hope you answer Celeste are happy now that I'm out off picture. I walked away and texted Yato, meet me at my place. She arrived a few minutes later trying to hug me, but I only wanted her to explain things. She told me that after coming back, she stayed with her parents for a while. One night, she heard 2 pairs of feet fling into Zach's room and thought it was me. She got up to talk and tease for sneaking around, but she walked in on Zach and Celeste in shock. She didn't grab evidence and just went back to her room. She couldn't look at me without feeling guilty. She tried for months to find evidence, knowing I wouldn't believe her without it. When she finally did, she wanted me to take revenge in the best way possible. I hugged her tightful. She had my back. She apologizes aptly for keeping it from me, but etude her reasoning. She stayed with me, consoling me through the shock of my relationship. Ending. A few months have passed since then. Healing has been a long process. Zach tried to contact Mayu. I blocked him everywhere. Ava told Mayo one in their family was speaking to and their parents had kicked him. Ouch had also dumped him for some. It's satisfying to see Zach's life fall apart, while mine is getting better thanks to the one person who always had me back. Cheers to that. Would you have stayed silent or exposed the truth? Watch what happens next, and see how I took control before it was too late.